So I am Mr. Bruno. I am the College and Career Counselor here at Round Lake High School. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the second college representative panel. Thank you panelists for all being a part of this. You are all part of a university, which is interesting for this panel because I know I had a bunch of colleges for the next one and the first one. I'll start with Bradley University. I have Miss Jessica from Bradley University. Do you want to introduce yourself, Jessica?
Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Jessica King. I am one of the admission counselors here at Bradley University. I am excited to be here today and I'm looking forward to taking your questions.
Thanks, Jessica. I have Scott from University of Illinois, Urbana, Champaign.
Hi everyone, my name is Scott Carlson. So I am one of the Chicago regional admission counselors for U of I. So I actually do live up here in the Chicagoland area. So traditionally you're gonna be able to meet with you all in person, but Zoom for right now, but if you ever need me, we can always set up an appointment through email to chat.
Perfect, thank you. And then I have Julia from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale.
Hi everybody, my name is Julia. Nice to meet you all. I'm the admissions coordinator for everybody in the northern suburbs of Chicago as well as Wisconsin. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Perfect. I have Grant from Marquette University.
Hey folks, yes, good afternoon. My name is Grant. I do work at Marquette. I also went to Marquette as an undergraduate for 4 years. So definitely bleed blue and gold. Happy to be here. Different from some of the other folks on the call here, I do work on campus, now so virtual, but I am not campus. I should say I'm not regionally located like some of the other representatives who are on the call here. But thanks for having me here today, folks.
Thank you. Western Illinois University. I have my friend Kita on the call on the video.
Good afternoon. I am also an alum of Western Illinois University, and I live in Gurnee, so not too far away from your high school. Like Scott said, I would love to see you all in person, but this is our second best option, and I can't wait to answer your questions tonight.
Awesome. And then my alma mater, I have Rachel from UIC.
Hey everyone, again, my name is Rachel. I also graduated from UIC. I'm an admissions counselor and recruiter for the North and Northwest Suburban Territory. So I'm really excited to answer all of your questions.
Awesome, thank you so much. So for all of those in attendance, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna work through each school one by one. Every school is gonna talk for about 5 to 10 minutes. Just give you a brief introduction, talk a little bit about their school and what their school offers. So you're going to see a lot of differences between schools, and then you're also going to see a lot of similarities. We have some small private schools, we have some large public schools, we have some smaller public schools. The nice thing is that we have multiple of the UI systems, but they're completely different UI system schools. And then you're just going to get to see a lot of differences and a lot of similarities, like I said, and then you can ask questions at the end. So you can ask questions throughout the conversation. We'll get to them at the end and we'll go from there. So why don't we start with Miss Jessica, since you kicked us off, why don't we kick it off with you? We'll let you take over the floor. Jessica from Bradley University, the floor is all yours.
Absolutely, thank you. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, well guys, thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Jessica King, and I am an admission counselor with Bradley University. So Bradley, we are a private mid-size university located down in Peoria, Illinois. Peoria is actually the largest downstate metropolitan area in Illinois, and it's positioned right around 3 hours equidistant from Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis. So located right in the heart of central Illinois. Peoria being a mid-sized city, we do have a lot of those opportunities for entertainment, internship, getting involved in the community that you might see in a larger metropolitan area. While at the same time, it's not uncommon for me to go to my local grocery store and run into people I know or some of my neighbors. So like Peoria, Bradley is mid-sized. As a mid-sized university, we have nearly 6,000 students on our campus. We have a lot of those same opportunities that you might find at larger schools. For example, Division I NCAA athletics, study abroad, undergraduate research opportunities, as well as opportunity to perform internship during your undergraduate years in college. At the same time, we're able to offer a lot of that hands-on personalized attention that you might find at some smaller schools. So we're kind of the Goldilocks, right in the middle, not too big, not too small, which gives our students a lot of different opportunities to explore during their undergraduate years. And so campus itself, we are located right about 1.5 miles up from downtown, very walkable campus. When I was a Bradley student, I was always that student that would wake up about 15 minutes before she had to be to class. I could always wake up, grab my coffee, get ready, and get to class in time. So it is about a 5 to 10 minute walk from one end to the other. So you have plenty of time and ease of getting to your classes. Students, their freshman and sophomore year, will live on campus. You can stay in the residence halls all 4 years if you would like. A lot of students choose to do so, especially if they want to be involved in the residence life leadership or be on hall council. Or you can live in the St. James apartment complex. That's these tan buildings right here. Oh, wonderful. That's these tan buildings right here. We also have the Main Street Commons apartment complex, which is unfortunately not included in our graphic. That's around this area right here. Or you can do what me and 5 of my sorority sisters did. Junior and senior year, we rented a house in the area. So that's one of the benefits of being kind of sequestered in our own little residential neighborhood. So our average class size at Bradley is right around 17 students. So really similar, if not even smaller than what you're used to right now on campus at your high school. 100% of our classes are taught by Bradley faculty members. So you are taught directly by those experts in their fields. Students are asked at the undergraduate level to participate in research and really get hands-on and get your hands dirty, sometimes literally during your undergraduate years, which is awesome when it comes to looking to apply for internship as well as for placement after graduation. And at Bradley, we do have 185 different majors and programs of study equally distributed throughout 5 academic colleges. So we offer programs in business, communication, education, engineering, fine arts, liberal arts and sciences, and technology. We do have a wide variety of majors. We have sports communication in addition to biomedical science. We have a new concentration in our mechanical engineering program right now for robotics and autonomous vehicles. So a wide variety of academic options. I encourage you to go to our website and take a look at our majors list to see if we have the major that's the best fit for you. And in addition to our wide variety of academic programs, we also have more than 240 different student organizations on our campus, the largest group of which is actually academic and honorary. These are organizations that you can get involved with within your major. For example, when I was at Bradley, I was heavily involved in Women in Business, as well as our AMA chapter, the American Marketing Association. You can guess what my major was based on that. In addition to academic and honorary, we have athletic groups like club and intramural sports, religious organizations like our St. Joseph Newman Center, Bradley Hillel, the Muslim Student Organization, Campus Crusade, Campus Outreach. So if you want to continue to grow and expand on your spiritual journey in college, you can absolutely do so here. We also have Greek life on our campus, 15 fraternities, 7 sororities. And then community service is really big on Bradley's campus. I always like to point out this little guy. His name is Leo. He is one of our Wags for Mags dogs. That is a service organization that actually trains and places service dogs with families in the Peoria area free of charge. So you get to work with dogs and, work towards a great service organization as well. In addition to Wags for Mags, we have Best Buddies. I always did Habitat for Humanity spring break trip every year. We have the BU cleanup crew. in addition to some other, fun student organizations. Like we have a lot of esports and gaming groups on campus, political and social action committees and groups, as well as the Bad Movies Club. They just put out their top 10 bad movies for Halloween in October. So there's a bunch of different organizations where you can find your fit within the Bradley community. So one of the best things you can actually do as part of your college search is to schedule visits. Now, right now, it may not, not all campuses may have visits available, or you may not feel comfortable making a visit to campus right now. We do offer on-campus visits, but we also have a lot of opportunities to connect with Bradley online in our virtual visits as well. We have an entire virtual campus tour on our website where one of our tour guides, Mr. Jamal and Miss Megan, they can guide you through a campus tour on campus, right as if you were here. So applying to Bradley, we are a Common App school. You can also apply using a Bradley's own application as well. And so for the application, we'll take a look at the application. We'll take a look at transcripts that need to be sent to us directly from your high school guidance office, as well as your personal statement, also known as the personal essay. If you're utilizing Common Application, we will use that Common App essay as your Bradley essay. So there's no need to do an additional supplement just for Bradley. So those are all of our required materials. Beginning this year and moving forward, Bradley is test optional. So you may include official SAT or ACT scores if you would like, or if you weren't able to sit a test yet this year, you can apply as test optional as well. So students who apply test optional are given full consideration for placement in academic programs, as well as for scholarship when they apply to Bradley. And another option for students is to submit letters of recommendation. These aren't required to complete your Bradley application, but students will generally send me between 1 and 3. And students sometimes do feel like their application wouldn't be complete without a letter of recommendation. So we will take a look at letters of recommendation as well when reading your application. And of course, FAFSA. I always encourage all my students to file FAFSA as soon as possible on or after October 1st. FAFSA is how you become eligible for Bradley Institutional Grant Aid, but also the State of Illinois MAP Grant, Federal Pell Grant, Campus Work Study, as well as eligibility to take out the direct Stafford loans your first year. FAFSA opened, hard to believe, about 2 weeks ago on October 1st, and students do file FAFSA every year you are in college that you would like to be considered for need-based assistance. So this is kind of our timeline for Bradley for my high school seniors. Right now we are in our application periods. We do have our early action application period ending on November 1st. Any students who are interested in applying for nursing, our game design major, or animation are highly encouraged to apply during that early action application period. October 1st, again, I'll say it, file FAFSA. File the FAFSA. And then of course, after we have our admission decision and we have our financial assistance award, that's really when we get to have some of those conversations with your counselor, to make sure we understand everything, to review financial assistance awards. And then May 1st is the date that students will tell us, yes, I've decided to call Bradley home for the next 4 years. Or, it's great, but I found my college fit elsewhere. So thank you very much, guys, for coming out tonight. My name is Jessica King. I have contact information up here as well as on this slide. Feel free to take a picture or a screenshot and reach out to me if you ever have any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I really appreciate it. All right, let's jump over to Scott from U of I, Urbana, Champaign. Let's hear about U of I.
Perfect. All righty, can you see my screen, James?
Yes, I can. And I'm going to spotlight you. So it's all you then.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Carlson. So already met me a little bit, but yes, I am the admission counselor for the Round Lake area, as well as all the northern and western suburbs. Let's dive in to learn a little bit more about the University of Illinois. We are the largest school in the state of Illinois. We have roughly around 34,000 undergraduate students. We have been #2 in diversity amongst our top ranked Midwest universities. We represent all 50 states and over 100 different countries. So you will get a true global education on our campus, but we still, as a state serving institution, do put a preference for our Illinois residents. So you, as an Illinois resident, will be preferred and heavily favored throughout our admission process. We usually have a freshman class of anywhere between 70 to 78% of Illinois residents. So do not count yourself out of the admission process to U of I. We have 11 different academic colleges on our campus. We have our College of Aces here, which houses all of our agricultural programs, our animal science, if you want to go into becoming a veterinarian, our nutrition and dietetics, as well as our environmental science programs. We have our College of Applied Health Sciences, which houses like kinesiology, community health, as well as sports and recreation management. We have our College of Education, which houses everything from early childhood through secondary. Our College of Fine and Applied Arts, which has all of our arts, theater, music, dance, architecture type programs. Our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences is by far our largest college. They house all of our STEM-based programs, as well as our humanities-based programs. Our College of Media has our journalism, as well as advertising, as well as media type programs. Our Geese College of Business houses all of our marketing, management, finance, accounting type programs. Granger College of Engineering, we have every engineering discipline except for petroleum. So as long as you don't want to go into the oil industry, we got you covered. Our School of Information Science is brand new. It's like combining computer science and sociology together. So you're still dealing with data, but you're adding in a human element into that data. And then we have our School of Social Work, pretty self-explanatory there, so you want to go into counseling. And then our Division of General Studies, it's basically our version of Undecided, so you can always start there and work with your academic advisor while on our campus to find your home after your first year or after your second year. But overall, as a campus, we're a top 15 public university, so truly no matter what program you go into, it's going to be a strong one at our university. We are not located in the middle of a cornfield. I do promise you guys all that. We are actually located in a pretty good sized community. The greater Champaign County has over 200,000 people in it. We have 3 very different distinct downtown areas that surround us. We have downtown Champaign, downtown Urbana, and downtown Campus Town. So it really kind of triples your opportunities for like restaurants, shops, boutiques, art galleries, bookstores, to concert venues, to movie theaters. There's always something going on, not only like around our campus, but also on our campus. We were recently designated by Midwest Living as the #1 food town in the Midwest. So definitely some really good treats. And we also have over 30 food trucks that circle our campus every single day. Our students are actively involved on our campus. By far the most popular is through our registered student organizations, or RSOs for short. We have over 1,800 on our campus. If you can't seem to find one out of 1,800 that are available, I would, 1, be shocked. But 2, it's really easy to start your own. We have clubs like our Chocolate Lovers Club, who meet up and just eat chocolate. We have our underwater hockey team, so hopefully you can hold your breath for a little while. We have our Fall Lovers Club, who's absolutely obsessed with this weather that we're having right now, as well as our Squirrel Watching Club. I guess we do have a lot of squirrels on our campus, so it goes to show you it's really easy to start your own club if you can't seem to find one out of 1,800. For concerts, we've had big names like Post Malone, as well as Lil Yachty. For festivals, we have like the Taste of Champagne, as well as the Ebert Fest, a really cool movie Sundance Film Festival. We are a Big 10 school, so we compete at 19 Division I sports against a bunch of big universities, like kind of the ones here in the Midwest of Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska, as well as Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State. We do really well in a lot of our sports. The only 2 that you're going to have to pay for is men's football and men's basketball. The rest of the sports are free for you to attend as a student on campus. And then we have our intramural and club sports. We have more than 35 in respective categories for both of these. So if you do want to continue playing a sport at our university as a non-Division I athlete, you definitely can do so on our campus. We do a really good job of professional engagement. This past year, roughly around 70% of our students participated in an internship. Those opportunities came available both on campus as well as in all major cities across the United States and globally. roughly around 70% of our students participated in research. If it's research you want to do in college, we're the perfect fit for you. Every student in every major has research going on within their program. Our freshmen are able to get involved in research right away on campus. You do not have to wait till you're a junior or a senior. We have over 100 different research centers available, and we have our own office of undergraduate research if you're not sure how to get started. For internships as well as research opportunities, we have a very unique aspect on campus called Research Park, where over 125 companies live permanently. So these are companies that you can go to and get an internship, a part-time job, or a research assistant position. They love hiring freshmen because then that way they get you for all 4 years, and they work really well with your class schedule. So you can work throughout the week. They're always paid anywhere between $17 to $25 per hour. Companies here like Abbott Labs, AbbVie, AB InBev, Capital One, Yahoo, State Farm, Caterpillar, John Deere, Motorola. And then study abroad. Every major and every student can study abroad at U of I. Do not let that number fool you. We have over 380 programs on our campus. We are a large university. We're not going to lie about that, but we are here to support you every step of the way while you're at our university through counseling, sending help, through our McKinley Health Center for Student Health, if you have any sort of physical health needs, our Disability Resource Center, and our Career Center. Just fantastic work to prepare you for life beyond U of I. Let's skip ahead a little bit. We did bring close to 10,000 unique employers to our campus this past year. When I say the word unique, it means we also got visited by different universities, recruiting our students for their graduate programs like law schools, med schools, etc. Of the Fortune 100 companies, we had 86 recruit Illini last year. And of that 86, 60 of them did their interviews right there on our campus. They know the power of an Illini grad and what an Illini education can bring. So rather than risking on losing out on you, potentially being an employee at their company because you can't make it to them, they're gonna come straight to you. So you can do an interview with Facebook in the morning, with Disney in the afternoon, and finish up with Nike at night. We have those connections built up over the years for our students to have these types of opportunities. In terms of the application, if you are not a senior right now, don't pay attention too much to the deadlines here because they may change for you for next year, but we have an early action deadline and a regular decision deadline. So for this year, it's November 15th for early action and January 5th for regular decision. No matter which date you apply by, everyone will find out their admission decision in February. By applying early action, you will receive a better chance of being admitted into your major, potentially receiving merit-based scholarships, and being admitted into one of our honors programs. So I do recommend applying by November 15th. We are a part of the coalition application, as well as we have our own application called the My Illini account. So you can apply either way. We do not have a preference. The entire application is self-reported. So you're gonna literally tell us everything that we need to know straight in your application. We review holistically. This means that we are looking at everything that is in your application equally for admission. We are not just looking at your GPA and your test scores and calling it a day, especially this year, since we have decided to go test optional. We have not made any decisions yet for future cycles, so keep in touch with me and I can let you know because this is the very first time we've ever gone test optional. So we're going to kind of wait and see how this year goes for us with going the test optional policy. But yeah, we look at everything individually and equally for admission. So your grades, your course rigor, your test scores, if you submit them, if not, you're fine. You will not be disadvantaged at all. Your extracurriculars, your honors and awards, and your essay for your major. Our essay prompt is rather unique. It all revolves around your major. So you talk about your interest in the program, what do you want to do with it, how have you recently explored it, and kind of how did you first, why this type of program? Let's dive here into types of aid. So merit-based aid, you automatically get reviewed for by applying to our university. For need-based aid, that's all going to come from the FAFSA. I highly recommend submitting that FAFSA. I say no later than Thanksgiving break because we have created a lot of great new need-based initiatives that can greatly reduce the cost of attendance to U of I. We have the Illinois commitment where if your family makes anywhere between $67,000 and under per year in income, you'll get 4 years of free tuition to attend our university. If it comes out from your FAFSA that your parents are not able to donate any money toward your education, so you have a 0 estimated family contribution level, you would then get what's called Illinois Promise, which means you get a full ride to attend our university for all 4 years. If you have any questions about that, you can feel free to reach out to me. I know I kind of went through all that really quickly. I am here for you throughout the application process. If you have any questions, I have heard everything under the sun. do not hesitate to reach out to me. I will make sure to put all my contact information into the chat feature so you have that and you can reach out to me personally. I help out all my students with their essays because that's usually the biggest hit with our university, just because our essay prompt is pretty different from most universities. So if you need any help with that, I am more than happy to look it over and give you some feedback before submitting your application. But by far the biggest key for admission to U of I is to please make sure in your application that you list a first choice major and a second choice major. By having a second choice major, you quadruple your chances of being admitted to our university. If you only list one major and that's it, that's all we're going to review you for, that program. If you're not admissible, then you're just denied. So please do yourself a favor, list a second choice major, because then you give us more opportunities to review potentially for admission to our school. We will never leapfrog your first choice and go directly to your second choice major option. If you have further questions, like I mentioned, please never hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Have a great rest of your guys' day.
Thank you so much, Scott. I appreciate it. Let's move all the way down south to Southern Illinois, Carbondale, and my friend Julia. Hi, Julia. Is Julia still with me? Okay, let's pivot here for a second. Let's move, we'll just jump ahead. Let's go to Grant. How about at Marquette? Thanks, Grant. Thanks for being flexible here. I know Julia with us, but now I don't see her in my little list over here, so I will.
Yeah, I don't either, so no worries. Yeah, happy to present. And if she comes back, she comes back. That's fantastic. Great.
Thanks, Grant. Let's talk about beautiful Milwaukee.
I will. Hey, give me a moment here, folks, while I get my screen up and running. All right, Mr. Bruno, can you confirm that you've got that the slides that are being shown?
Yes, I got it, and I will spotlight you right now. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well, hi, folks. Thanks so much for having me on the call this afternoon. My name is Grant Egan, as we talked about before. We're going to talk about Marquette today. I am biased. I did go to Marquette for my undergrad degree, as mentioned, so definitely get excited when I talk about my alma mater. We're going to talk about some of the programs that you might have interest in, or at least that you've heard about Marquette by. We'll talk about the city of Milwaukee. We'll also talk about the admission process. So that's just a little bit about what's to come. I promise not to make too many stupid jokes. I might have one, just I think I'm contractually obligated to make a stupid joke, so we'll get when we get there, and you'll know when it comes. So that being said, folks, let's get the ball rolling here. I do want to kind of start with looking at Marquette from just a 10,000-foot view. Okay, so how you're going to look at Marquette when you're comparing us to different universities and colleges. So from a numbers perspective, you are going to see right in the center of that screen, we've got about 8,000 undergraduate students. So that puts us at a medium-sized institution. Now, the thing with Marquette and where it's located right next to downtown Milwaukee is that even though we are technically identified as a medium-sized school, it can feel a lot larger based on where you're spending your time. So whether you're just on campus, it's going to feel pretty small, pretty compact. Or if you are in the greater Milwaukee Land area, it's going to feel much larger. Okay, and we'll show you some pictures about what that means later on. But again, 8,000 is the most important number to consider for comparing us from different schools. We talked about that connection with the city. I do want to reiterate the point that even though we are in Milwaukee, which is roughly about a 50-minute drive from Round Lake area or so, not too bad. You know, we do have our own unique campus with access to that city. And I've got a slide coming up in just a little bit that will describe that visually for you folks. The other thing I want to mention, as you're going to find from a lot of schools that are similar to our size, is the fact that your in-class experience is going to be very similar to what you've experienced throughout high school. Okay, now, I can tell you from my own personal experience at Marquette that the vast majority of my classes were in actual classrooms. You're going to see the average class size about 23 students. I only ever had 4 more traditional lecture halls, if you will, as an undergraduate student. And those lecture halls themselves were very small. And I'm talking about 100 people, maybe 120 people. If that's the case, if you are dreadful of the concept of going into a big lecture hall, the ones at Marquette, they do have breakout sessions every week if you are in those larger rooms. So you will be in a classroom of about 20 students or so, reviewing the material that your professor taught you. So on that note, do know that you'll always have your professor who's going to teach you. You'll never have a TA or a graduate assistant. So we do want you to have those connections built with your professors. So it's not just a person who's a couple feet away from you who you never get to know. We want them to be more of a peer, and you get to connect with them, learn from them, go to the office hours every single week. And ultimately, they're the industry experts. So they're the ones who are going to be helping you find out what degree it is you really want to get, where your passions really lie, your interests rest, and help apply that into that professional setting. So a couple more fast facts you see on the screen here. No need to read you them verbatim. You'll get the concept of them as we continue talking about some other things with campus. But I do want to mention one thing that's not on this page currently, and is that we are a Jesuit institution. So this means, I should say, what does this mean? So Jesuits are an order of Catholic priests. So another way of saying that is Marquette is a private Catholic school. Now, just because the Jesuits are an order of Catholic priests does not mean that you need to be Catholic to come to campus in any way, shape, or form. Even though you're going to find a slight majority of our students do identify as Catholic, there are multiple faith presences that are represented on campus, and there are multiple opportunities for students to express their faith life on campus or develop a faith life, challenge their faith life, whatever it means to you. You don't get that question a lot, is do I have to be Catholic? You do not. It's what you make of it. Now, more specifically, what the Jesuits are all about, it really dwindles down to two important characteristics for the sake of this presentation. First is going to be the kinds of classes that you're going to be exposed to, regardless of your program, and also a commitment to service that Jesuits are relatively renowned for. So first with the academics and the kinds of classes you're going to be taking. So regardless of the field that you go into, and we'll show you the 7 colleges that you can apply into as a senior. I know we've got some juniors who are on the call likely, but as a senior, you will choose one of the 7 colleges to apply into. But regardless of the classes that are going to be required to fulfill that major or majors, you'll also be taking courses in our core curriculum. And this is not a freshman core. These are not your freshman gen eds, because the core stays with you for your entire time as an undergraduate. So you'll always be taking classes in the humanities and the liberal arts, like philosophy and theology and ethics, diverse cultures, social behavior, and your math and your history and sciences, yes, but also your rhetoric and composition, your public speaking. So I hope you get the concept or the idea here that you're going to be exposed to a lot of different concepts. You're going to be exposed to a lot of different areas of academia, not only so you can decide if you're interested in those fields, but also for you to connect the pieces of what it is you're learning in your degree and how they can be applied to the real world situation. So you're going to be learning a lot of communication skills, analytical skills, critical thinking skills through those core classes that you can then take to your intended field of study and really set yourself apart. And that's what Jesuits love to do, is they want to let you see what's out there, show you what you can do with your education. And they as mentioned before, they'll do that your entire time as an undergraduate. Every year you'll take classes in your core. So that's a little bit about those kinds of classes that you're going to take. Now, the other thing I want to mention is that service. So it might be common for some high schools and students who are listening on the call today, depending on the high school you're at, you might have a requirement of X number of service hours or volunteer experiences you need to do. At Marquette, about 80% of our students are going to do volunteer opportunities every single year, and yet none of them have to. Not for 1 second do you have to serve. But last year alone, the students had logged almost about 500,000 hours worth of service experiences. So it's very much a thing to do. It's part of the Marquette student experience is to be involved in service, whether that's through on-campus service organizations. They get involved with some Milwaukee-based organizations. They opt into some service learning experiences, which is through your major or your minor. So there are many ways to serve, and know that like I said, it's the majority of our students are going to do it. So it's what you do at Marquette. Now, if you look at the Jesuits, if you search Jesuit on Google, you're going to find that there are 27 different Jesuits across the country. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the difference in those Jesuit schools. And by that, I mean where they're located in just a moment. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the programs, those 7 undergraduate colleges that I've been alluding to. So I'm going to take a moment here to talk about that before we go into our neighborhood, our community. So as mentioned before, for the seniors who are listening here and for the juniors add next year for when you would be applying to Marquette, know that you do select one of the 7 colleges that you see on the screen here. So perhaps those who don't have access to the visuals here, I'll read them off. We've got the College of Arts and Sciences, Business Administration, Communication, Education, Engineering, Health Sciences, and the College of Nursing. So those are the main tiers of where you're going to be applying into. Now, I do also add this caveat saying that it doesn't mean you have to stay in that college. If you go into a business degree and then realize through the coursework that, you know what, maybe my interests are more in communication, or maybe you think I want to go into medicine, but you don't really know what that means, but you like helping people, you're good at science. It could be medical school. It could be PT. It could be, you could become a PA. You could go into nursing. There's a lot of flexibility with those degrees and where those interests are. So we just want to start you somewhere. That being said, I did mention the College of Nursing. That's the one exception to that rule. The College of Nursing at Marquette does not allow for internal transfers into that program. So if you are thinking nursing and you're also thinking PA and you might be thinking medical school, start at nursing because you can transfer out of the nursing program. You cannot transfer into the College of Nursing. However, those other 6 colleges that you see on the screen, they are transfer friendly. So typically within the first year or 2, if you're in one college, it is possible to transfer across to a different, one of the other 6 that you see on the screen. Okay, so that being said, I do have a lot of questions that come up about our PT program, which is a 6-year doctorate of physical therapy direct entry program. So that is one that you would apply to as an incoming student. We do have a 5-year PA program, the physician assistant program. That is one that you don't apply into as an incoming student, but you can apply to it as a current Marquette student, typically during your junior year. So you've got some time to really sit with those interests if you are thinking about that, but know that that is not a direct entry program. That is simply one you apply to again as a junior, as when you start that application process. Other things I want to mention, if you are thinking, just because actually I'll go through just a sentence or 2 about the colleges that you see on the screen to help figure out for the seniors, if you haven't already, to understand where you'd be applying into. College of Arts and Sciences, home to the majority of our humanities and those liberal arts, which include your natural sciences, your social sciences, and again, some of those humanities too. So we're talking everything from physics and biology and chemistry to sociology and psychology and anthropology over to your, writing intensive English programs, everything. If you're interested in medical school, there's a lot of programs within College of Arts and Sciences that you could go into as well. College of Business, as it suggests, you're going to have a lot of programs in business like accounting and finance and HR and marketing, econ, supply chain, just to name a few. College of Communication, you're going to find interest in theater arts, digital media, PR, you're going to find corporate communication. So there are, and I'm just naming a couple of the big ones that I get a lot of questions on. There's more majors and minors to be read about on the website, but figured I'd give you some insight here. Education is pretty simple. You've got elementary education or secondary education. Within the past 2 years, we created a new major within that college. It's educational studies. So for those who are hoping to become maybe a counselor, or those who are hoping to go into some kind of educational policy reform, you like the idea of being a teacher, but you don't like teaching, that could be a program for you. College of Engineering, a little bit less in the offerings that we have compared to our folks down at U of I, Champaign, Urbana, but we've got programs in civil, mechanical, construction, and computing and biomedical engineering. So those are the main tiers there. College of Health Sciences, huge amount of offerings for students who are thinking somewhere within the health sciences, yes, but more specifically medicine. I mentioned a couple of them before, but I'll reiterate them. They include physical therapy. They include the physician assistant program. That's also where our athletic training program is housed, our biomedical sciences, our clinical lab science program, all of those housed in health sciences. And then we save the easiest one for last, nursing. The sole major in the College of Nursing is nursing. Okay, so that's going to be a program that you're going to get exposure to our simulation lab your freshman year. Your clinical placements start your sophomore year and has a national passing of their NCLEX about 96 or 97% every single year. So extraordinarily strong program. All right, enough about the academics. I do want to talk a little bit about that social side of a Marquette experience in my last minute or 2 that I have with you folks. What you're looking at currently is what I call a combo shot between Marquette's campus and that downtown environment. So I'm going to do a quick side-by-side for you to see what I'm talking about. So this is that combo shot, and then here is Marquette's campus. So I do feel like I'm an eye doctor at times when I do this, but here's your number 1 and here's your number 2. So with this picture, why I bring this up is because it does reiterate that point that we are very much an urban campus, but we do have the comfort of having that traditional college campus with the big green spaces, the quads, with the ivy on the sides of the building. When you walk around, you see the Marquette blue and gold on people's t-shirts and sweatshirts. You know you're on a college campus when you're here, but we've got within walking distance of our campus, the full city and greater Milwaukee land community. It's not just that downtown environment. Most notably, what you see on the screen towards that left-hand side is one that's called the Fiserv Forum. Okay, that's important because that's more or less the heart of the entertainment district. Fiserv Forum itself is where the Milwaukee Bucks play their home games in a traditional year, that is. That's where Marquette's going to play their home games for the men's basketball team as well. In that area, you have abilities to go see Broadway shows at the Marcus Center for Performing Arts. You have the ability to see comedy shows, improv comedy shows, stand-up comedy. There's a lot of music venues in the area. So anything that requires a ticket, for the most part, that's going to be over near that Fiserv Forum. It's about a 10 or 15-minute walk away from our campus. I mentioned it briefly, but just that connection with that downtown environment, there are, right, it's about well, if you look at the legal layouts of where campus starts and ends, we're about 1 or 2 blocks away from downtown Milwaukee, but the heart of the city is about a mile away from where our campus rests. So within that city, you're going to have the ability to go work and intern and get some research experiences at some of the 9 Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered in the greater Milwaukee Land area. You're going to have access to about 1.5 miles away from campus. You've got the lakefront, Lake Michigan, of course, for those who are perhaps unfamiliar with our campus. We're just a little bit away from the lake. And then also, the reason the 3rd ward is highlighted on this page, it's one of the neighborhoods in Milwaukee that we always recommend students take a look at if they're visiting campus, because it's a great way for you to get comfortable with this is what the city has to offer. There truly is an extension of Marquette's campus into the city, are all of the neighborhoods that surround the area. So whether that's for work experience, whether that's for cultural experiences or social experiences, you're going to have all that ability right next door to you. The other thing that we want to mention, because I did do it, actually I'm going to take a pause before I get to that point. I do want to mention one more thing as far as to how campus is structured, and then we'll talk a little bit about how to visit campus. So towards the center of the screen, you do see a very large road with a bunch of red trees that are dotted in the center of it. That road is more or less our equator on campus. So from this perspective, everything that's to the right-hand side is your academic half of campus. So all of the 7 colleges that we showed you earlier are headquartered over there. So that's where you go to school. Everything on the left-hand side of the screen is your more social side of campus. It's where you've got your dining halls, your residence halls, your off-campus housing. It's where the union is located, et cetera, et cetera. We do have a 2-year requirement for students to stay on campus your freshman and sophomore year. There are 9 different residence halls that you can partake in or that you can live in, and they all have their different environments and atmospheres. So know that that whole process is taken care of well after you decide to attend Marquette. This will be the summer for you coming into Marquette as a freshman. That's when we handle the housing situation. Now, I mentioned it, but let's get to the points finally here is how to visit campus. We are offering in-person campus visits if you're interested in doing so. Mentioned it before, but it's about a 50-minute drive away from your neck of the woods up to Milwaukee. You can do so. The traditional campus visit itself now is going to be with about a 10-minute admission info session and about a 45-minute campus tour. You will see campus. You will see the residence halls. You'll see the dining halls. You'll get a feel of campus. There are every possible social distancing measure you can imagine, from face masks to hand sanitizing stations across campus to maintaining 6 feet of space across you and your tour guide, are all being measured and mandated across campus. So it's a safe environment to visit. But of course, if you can't or don't want to visit campus, there are a bountiful amount of opportunities to do so virtually. We've got an open house coming up on this Sunday, as a matter of fact, Sunday the 18th. If you're hoping to connect with our current students, if you're hoping to learn more about the application process, if you're hoping to learn about the financial aid process for you and your family, if you want to get more familiar with what the city has to offer for you as a student, all of these touch points can be done through the open house, but also through just any time that you want to learn about it. Go onto our website, marquette.edu/explore/virtual. That's going to be the mecca of all these opportunities for students to learn more about campus. So that's a little bit about campus, about Milwaukee, about the academic offerings. I'm going to talk briefly about how you apply. So I'm also going to keep my contact info up because I know questions come up about individual students' applications. And so I want to spend some time for you to know that this is my email address. Those phone numbers will go to our admissions office, but if you have specific questions, they can direct them back to me, as I do recruit from the Northern Illinois area. So when you are applying to Marquette, the most important date for students to know is December 1. That is our end-all be-all deadline for undergraduate admissions. All of our undergraduate offerings, including the accelerated degree programs we rifled through today, are going to hold that December 1st deadline. After that point, students can apply for additional scholarships in addition to the one that they received in their acceptance letter. There's about 15 or 20 of them that they can apply for after the fact. It's going to hold a January 15th deadline. We do review the apps holistically. We look at everything that you give us. We do review them on a rolling basis as well. So if you submit an application, you're going to hear back at this time of year in about 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks, shall we say. We are in the common application. We do have our own application. Makes no difference to us. It's completely free to apply to both. They all hold the same deadlines. The only tangible difference for you on your end of the side of the desk is there are less questions on our application versus the common app. But that's it. There's no benefit for you to apply today or already have been admitted by today versus on December 1st when our deadline is. We're not going to run out of spaces in that regard. So after December 1st, though, we can't guarantee that all of our colleges will be just as open as they are today. So in recap, know that December 1st, if you apply on December 1st, you still have the same chance of admission than someone who has already been accepted and admitted. So more details to come on our listed on our website, that is, but also more info to come from Marquette and from myself if you're hoping to further the conversation. So that's about my time here, folks. Thanks so much for your attention, and I'll pass it over back to Mr. Bruno.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. I think that we have figured out Julia. Julia, are you here with me? I just want to make sure that this is working.
Yes, I am. Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you. Yes, yes, yes. All right, cool. Let's see if your screen is sharing. Perfect. Yes, it is. So I will spotlight you, and then the floor is yours.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time. Like it was mentioned, my name is Julia Quintanilla. I'm one of the admissions coordinators for Southern Illinois University Carbondale. I'm also one of their alumni. I just recently graduated about a year ago. And I've been in SIU for about 6 years. So definitely have lots of experience within SIU, and I'm also the admissions coordinator for everybody in the northern suburbs of Chicago as well as Wisconsin. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But to get started, I just wanna go over some interesting facts about SIU. First one being is that we like to offer greatness to our students. And by that, I mean that we give all of our students a lot of resources in order to guarantee that academic success. One of the greatest things that we're known for is research. We are a research institution. We are in the top 5%. So if you're somebody who wants to go into a research field, you definitely can pursue that route with us. When it comes to academic programs, we have a total of 200, and that list just keeps increasing as years go forward. When it comes to our average institution, we're roughly a mid-sized institution, so approximately 10,000 students, 13,000 with our law and our medical school. And then when it comes to an average class size, we are roughly 13:1, so that's 13 students per one professor. So you do have the opportunity to ask questions, to build that relationship with your professor as well as your classmates, which is an extremely valuable aspect of our campus. And it's one of the main reasons why I loved SIU, because you definitely have that hands-on experience and that connection with your peers as well. But moving along, I do want to mention something about our location, and that's that we are located in Carbondale, Illinois. So if you're not familiar, it is down south Illinois. If you're from the Chicago area, it's roughly 5 hours or so, but please don't let that discourage you. Yes, it is a bit of a drive. However, it's an area that has a lot to offer. So in an average year, I say average because of course 2020 is not an average year, but usually we have a lot of festivals, a lot of concerts, a lot of theater plays, organizations that to offer for students for them to develop that additional layer of involvement, for them to pursue other aspects outside their academics. Also, another one of my favorite facts about Carbondale is that we are located near a lot of national forest preserves. So that's Shawnee, that's Garden of the Gods, Giant City. So a lot of opportunity when it comes to just venturing out and exploring. Also, we are located right next to Kentucky, Tennessee, Nashville, right by St. Louis. So lots of opportunities to venture out within the area, or also just to receive additional support. If you're somebody who's interested in internships, there's a lot of internships within the area. You just have to just explore those options and figure out which ones are best for you and your interest as well. But moving along, when it comes to some resources on campus, I just want to highlight some of my favorites. So here at SIU, we do like to have our students involved both physically and mentally. So we offer our rec center. It's one of my favorite places on campus. It has all kinds of activities, all kinds of just space available to burn some steam off, to just be engaging with your peers and just having a good time. And I honestly always recommend our students utilizing all those resources because it's part of your fees, it's part of your tuition. So you don't need to pay an additional membership. You don't need to pay an additional fee to utilize those resources. They're available for you. And then another one of my favorite resources is the health center, especially now than ever. The health of our students is our main priority, which is why we offer a variety of support and resources here at SIU. We do provide health insurance for our students. So if you're somebody that needs any kind of medication, if you want to schedule a doctor's appointment, you definitely can. If you are under your parents' health insurance and you wish to remain within your parents' health insurance, that's totally fine. You can choose to opt out of our health insurance, and at that point, we will reimburse you that amount. Because you opt out of our health insurance, that does not necessarily mean that you no longer have that access to our resources. On the contrary, you still have that access. You're still able to utilize all of our resources within the health center. And then I know one of our main concerns when it comes to that college experience is deciding where to live. Here at SIU, we have a variety of options when it comes to housing. So we have both the west side of campus as well as the east side. And then we also have University Hall, so lots of options. And then lots of sceneries. If you want to go into Thompson Point, that's more like suburban area, kind of. Then like the towers, that's more city life, more traffic. Something I do want to mention is that as of right now, we're offering singles to all of our students. So what that basically means is that each student receives their own room space. They don't have to share that room with anybody else. They will only be sharing that bathroom with one other person. So here on campus, our residence halls have something that is a suite life style. So you're basically have a room that is connected by a bathroom to another room. So you have the bathroom in the middle and then two rooms on either opposite ends. Before, back when I was a student, I had to share that room with one other person and then that bathroom with 3 other girls, which was not hard, but I definitely learned how to share and how to use my resources. However, now that's not the case. Now it's a lot more beneficial, especially when it comes to the safety of our students. And that's at no additional cost. That's the same price as a double, so a really good opportunity. And then when it comes to that room space, everything is included, all the amenities, the furniture, everything that you need in order to feel at home. We also have something called LLCs, which are living learning communities. If you're somebody that's already interested in a specific department on campus, if you want to live within that environment of students, let's say you're going into the business department, the business school does have their own LLC, and that's basically a floor or two that's designated for that business program. So if you're interested in living with the same people, I highly recommend joining an LLC. And then that first year, students are required to live on campus. After that first year, it's totally up to the student if they want to choose to remain on campus or move into some of our apartment facilities, or just simply live within the Carbondale area. It's totally up to the student. However, something that is also included within the housing package is the meal plan. So here at SIU, we do have 2 dining halls on campus. We just recently renovated both of them, so lots of new options. And it's buffet style, anything you can eat, as long as they're open, you have full access, and you can go as many times as you want throughout the day. If you have some dietary restrictions, we do accommodate you based on those restrictions. You just have to let us know. But moving along, I do want to mention that we are a Division I institution. So if you're somebody that's big on sporting events, if you want to pursue a competitive sport, we definitely have those options available for our students. Right now, we have a total of 15 competitive sports, and we're constantly adding new ones to the list. But if you just want to join a sporting event, I highly recommend doing so as well. All of our sporting events are free for our students. It's part of their fees on campus, so they have full access to any of those sporting events. With everything going around, of course, we're taking all of the precautions, and we're not offering as many sporting events as we used to in the past, but hopefully everything gets better in the future and we're able to invite all of our students to those sporting events. Besides sporting events, we also have RSO, so student-run organizations, and that's just an additional layer of involvement here at SIU. We have a total of 30 RSOs, and each year the list keeps getting bigger and bigger. And if you find something that you're interested in, but we don't necessarily have that RSO, we always encourage you to open up a brand new RSO and just attract new students to that RSO. However, besides organizations, we also have Greek Life, a total of 30 organizations, and that's both male and female. However, we also have student government, we have volunteering opportunities as well, and we have a lot of cultural and environmental opportunities if you want to pursue that route as well. When it comes to some aspects of our institution, some programs and centers, I do want to highlight a few. First of all, I want to speak about the study abroad. I'm somebody that highly encourages studying abroad. If you want to pursue that route, out here at SIU, we offer a variety of opportunities, such as a week, a month, a semester, and even a year. And we partner up with a variety of countries to offer those experiences to our students. We have a center that provides them with support in terms of affording that study abroad trip, in terms of scheduling classes, in terms of transferring that credit in order to graduate or in order to fulfill those requirements for your program. So it's just a center that provides you with all the support, all the help that you need within that study abroad experience. Following along, we also have the University Honors Program. So if you're somebody that wants to pursue the honors route, you definitely can. Our honors program is located in the library, and you can basically go in there, meet with academic advisors, speak with anybody that's in charge of the program, and they will provide you a list of requirements, and they will coach you throughout the experience here at SIU. We also have a cultural development center. What that is basically a center that helps you when it comes to just structuring that resume, when it comes to writing that cover letter. If you're somebody that wants to do a mock interview and practice those skills, you definitely can do so. We also have a wardrobe closet. So if you're somebody that needs that professional attire, maybe you're missing a tie, some dress shoes, you could just walk into our closet and ask for those resources, and we will provide you with whatever you need in order to be successful within that interviewing process. So basically your junior and senior year, that's a really great resource to utilize. My senior year, I was practically in there once a month. It's just making sure everything was good to go in order for me to move on to that next phase in my life. I also want to talk about the Multicultural Resource Center. What that is basically a center that houses the LGBTQ, the Black Togetherness, the Hispanic Latino, the Women Center. And right now we're also opening up a brand new first generation center. And that's just centers to help our students navigate that experience within the college life. We understand that not everybody has that support at home, so which is why we want to accommodate those students and provide that support here on campus for them. And it's just a center that has an amount of resources such as scholarships, mentoring, even free printing. If you go in there and ask them for the computer lab, they definitely offer those resources for you. Finally, I do want to mention that we do have a disability support center. So if you're somebody who has a disability, you just have to provide us with that documentation and we will accommodate you based on those needs. Okay, so one of the main aspects of college is tuition and knowing how to afford paying that tuition. So here at SIU, we are an in-state institution. So no matter where you're coming from, you will be paying the same price as an Illinois student. So you're coming from Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, anywhere in the US, it will be the same price as an Illinois student. And then once you come in your freshman year, that price will lock in throughout those 4 years. So let's say your tuition might increase your junior year. You do not have to pay that difference. It will be the same price as your freshman year. And then 90% of our students do receive some sort of financial aid in terms of grants, scholarships, or loans. So lots of opportunities to pay for that tuition. And speaking about tuition, I just wanna quickly highlight the estimate amount when it comes to an average year here at SIU is roughly $25,000 for one academic school year. And that's basically if you go into a general program. Some programs do cost a little bit more than others, such as aviation, business, dental hygiene, physical therapy, automotive, just because they have different requirements and different fees, which is why the tuition is a little bit higher than average. But usually it's roughly around $25,000, and we like to separate it based on tuition, fees, and room and board. And if you have any questions about tuition, feel free to reach out to our Office of Financial Aid. They can provide you of an estimate. They can also look at your overall background and see what scholarships you might qualify for based on your needs. Okay. I also want to highlight some opportunities when it comes to scholarships. So we do offer a variety of scholarships, both competitive and non-competitive. If you go to our website at SIU Scholarships, you can get more detailed information on what those requirements are. But when it comes to the general scholarship, it's just a general application that you have to fill out in our website. And what that does is provides you a search of all the scholarships that you might qualify for. So in the future, you just can save lots of time within that search, just because you can enter your information on here and it selects everything that you may qualify for. But beside our general scholarships, We do have competitive scholarships, and recently we just changed the requirements for these scholarships. So before it was based on test scores and GPA, and now it's only based on your GPA. So they start at a 2.75 GPA, and then they go all the way up until a 3.8 GPA. Here are some of our somewhat competitive ones, and our really competitive scholarships are the Excellence and the Chancellor Scholar. The Chancellor Scholar is basically a full ride for those 4 years if you do meet the GPA requirement. However, there is an interview process attached to that requirement. And you will be notified if you qualify for any of our competitive scholarships once you apply and once you submit your transcripts to us. So here at SIU, we are a holistic application process, and I do want to mention that we take all of the documents into consideration. However, we are test optional, so if you choose to send in your test scores, it's totally up to you. I always recommend the students to submit their test scores just because it never hurts them. It's always very beneficial, but we just need your transcripts to be sent to us. And once you submit your application, unfortunately, we're not in the Common App. You do have to go to our website in order to fill out that application and submit it to us. But once you submit that application, you would want to send us your transcripts separately. So that's usually sent through us through Parchment, Naviance, or College Board. Or you could also send them through the mail. But it's very important we receive those transcripts just so we can make decisions of admission. Also, I do want to highlight that as of right now, we're offering free applications, so you don't have to necessarily pay that $40 fee. All of our applications are gonna get waived until October 31st. That's when the free application waiver expires. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in SIU, apply as soon as possible so you can qualify for that fee waiver. And then lastly, I do want to mention that we are on social media. We are doing campus visits. We are also offering virtual visits. So if you're somebody that just wants to have a one-on-one, or if you want to see what the campus looks like, you can schedule a visit if you go to our website at SIU Visits. And you can basically schedule them either during the week, and we're also offering Sunday visits. So it's totally up to you and what your availability looks like. Or if, let's say, you just don't want to do that 5-hour drive, it's totally fine. You can also register for a personal appointment, which at that point you'll be meeting with me, and it will just be a virtual appointment, and I can answer any of the questions that you have for me at that time. But at this point, I just want to thank you for your time and for letting me be part of this wonderful experience. And like I mentioned, my name is Julia. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Julia. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Now we're going to throw it over to Kita at WIU.
Hi, good evening, you all.
On the football field.
On the football field, you all, I do not play football. I'm gonna be super quick. I wanna make sure my other panelists have time. We are running out of time. And so again, my name is Kita. I'm a regional representative for Western Illinois University. If you don't know where Western is, we're in Macomb, Illinois. It's about 4 hours southwest of Chicago. You can take the Amtrak train to get there. Our average class size is about 18, student to faculty ratio about 13:1. Again, I'm an alum, and so I'll make sure you have my information to ask me any more detailed question, but I'm gonna go over some of the main things. Currently, we do have our school as test optional. We were test optional pre-COVID, and so everybody else is just catching up, but we've been test optional. We've also changed our admissions process. If you have a 2.75 or higher on a 4.0 scale, you're gonna automatically be accepted. If you have in between a 2.0 and a 2.74, then we'll likely ask for some additional documents. And then that's also a 3.4, 3.75 on a 5.0 scale. You will automatically be accepted without needing a test score. If you take the test and you provide us with your test score, then it could work for your benefit as well. Total cost of attending WIU is around $21,500. And we have a cost guarantee program where what you come in paying, you're going to pay all throughout 4 years. No surprises there. We offer multiple levels of scholarships, starting with a 3.0 GPA. And that's about $3,000. It ranges to $8,000. Keep in mind, this year we have a new scholarship petition form where if you feel like you deserve a higher scholarship, you fill out the petition form. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. And that's when you can petition to get a higher scholarship. And depending on how you answer those questions, you could jump up $3,000 extra or even all the way to our $8,000 scholarships. Those are automatic once you apply. Keep in mind that all throughout October, so today through the 31st, right, our application is free. Typically it's $30, but all October we are going to have our application for free. So we hope that you apply for that and save that money. We're really known for a lot of our programs, but being law enforcement and justice administration, we're #1 in the state for agriculture, business, sport, broadcasting, musical theater, our direct nursing program, and many others. Some new options we have is our actuarial science program, our educational studies program, as well as our new cannabis production program. And so if you're looking for some unique options, we have those as well. We are also a D1 school with about 17 sports. We have over 20 club sports. And we also have plenty of intramurals that you can get involved with. If sports isn't your thing like me, or you happen to be an artist, we have over 250 different clubs and organizations that you can be a part of. We also have a Multicultural Center. It's in the heart of our campus, and it brings students, faculty, and staff, community members of all different races together because we highly value diversity, equity, and inclusion. It houses our LGBTQA+, our Gwendolyn Brooks Cultural Center, you'll hear it called GBC, our Casa Latina, as well as our Women's Center. We do offer a $1,000 business scholarship. So if you have a personal visit with me or you sign up for one of our admissions presentations throughout the week, that's a $1,000 scholarship. We also offer an alumni $1,000 scholarship if you have a parent or grandparent who graduated from Western as well, okay? If you're interested in applying, again, that's www.wiu.edu to apply. It's free all of October, and I hope that you reach out to me for more information. I'll drop it in the chat now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, please, if you're thinking about going to WIU, $1,000 for meeting with Kita is it's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So I would highly, highly recommend that. And then wrapping us up before the question and answer segment, Rachel from UIC. Rachel, the floor is yours.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm actually going to be sharing my screen. I have a very short presentation. It's about 10 minutes or so long.
Perfect.
So let me know if you see it.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Great. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Again, my name is Rachel. I'm the admissions counselor and recruiter for the North and Northwest Suburban Territory. I'm also an alumna of the university, so I graduated a few years back. So UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago, we are the largest public institution and largest public research institution located in Chicago. This is a map of UIC. So here you can see UIC in relation to downtown Chicago. As you can see, it's very accessible to the different neighborhoods, activities. Full-time students, they'll be given a U-Pass, which is basically a venture card that will give them unlimited rides via the CTA buses and trains during the school year. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover the Metro or the pay services. That's just an out-of-pocket cost. Going back to the map, you can see that in the red is East Campus. So that's where the majority, if not all of your undergrad career will be located in. It's cut on this map, so you don't see it, but West Campus is to the left of East Campus. It also holds our Illinois Medical District. So if you're interested in becoming a doctor, a nurse, dentist, pharmacist, what have you, you'll be studying over there for your graduate or your upper division programs. Lastly, you can see that UIC is fairly close to the theater district, financial district, Chicago museums. So that just gives students plenty of opportunities for internship, jobs, leisure activities, shopping, going to the museums and whatnot. We have 15 different colleges within our university. So that would include things like liberal arts and sciences, College of Business, engineering, just to name a few. And we have over 100+ academic programs for your undergrad career to choose from. The best way to view our programs, UIC is a very Google-friendly school. So if you just Google UIC Program Finder, it's typically the first link, it'll list all of our undergrad and graduate programs as well. We also offer pre-professional tracks. So for example, pre-nursing, pre-med, pre-law. These pre-professional tracks basically prepare you for upper division programs and or graduate schools if you're interested in. Really quickly, I do want to talk about Honors College and GPPA. So Honors College, it's not necessarily something that you major in, but it's something that you can add in to enhance your major studies. The Honors College offers additional advising, facilities, small seminar courses. It has a housing community for students. So while you're in Honors College, students can complete a capstone project or a research project in a topic of their choice, whether that's something that addresses a research problem, something innovative in an area of application, new creative work, and whatnot. GPPA, that stands for Guaranteed Professional Program of Admittance. So this is for first-year applicants who are applying fall and who are interested in pursuing a graduate level or an upper degree program, such as nursing, medicine, law, stuff like that. So basically, these admitted students can tackle their undergrad years with the confidence knowing that their spot is secured for a graduate school. To be considered, you have to apply to either the GPPA, and some programs in the GPPA require you to be in Honors College simultaneously. But you can apply to that through our application process. So as mentioned in the beginning, UIC is a research university. We have research opportunities for all students, no matter what major they are or what year they are. So you can start as early as your freshman year. UIC is actually a Research 1 university. So what that basically means is that the level of research that we conduct qualifies us to be known as one of the highest level research institutions. And we're also given the most sponsored research funding as an R1 or a research institution. So UIC is actually 1 in 4 in Illinois. The other ones, if you're curious, is University of Chicago, Northwestern University, and then our sister school, University of Illinois at Urbana, Champaign. So speaking of research has proven that being in a diverse learning and a social environment, it adds tremendous value for students in college and also post-grad experience. So UIC's diversity is not only limited to racial or ethnic identity, it stretches across different types of spectrums, whether that's cultural, socioeconomic, geographical, things of those natures. We have several cultural centers on campus, support services, and we also have over 300 student organizations to just further advance that campus culture of inclusion and diversity, and creating a niche for students who want to find, different things to get involved in. As far as our demographic goes, we are a large university. So just undergrad only, we have about 21 undergrad students on campus, and then it's not shown on the side, but we have about 10,000 graduate students. So in total, we have about 31,000 students. So being that we are a large institution, we do try to keep our class sizes relatively small. So we have about a 19:1 student to faculty ratio. So that doesn't mean you're not going to be in a large lecture room, which you most likely will be, but that just means that those lecture rooms will be broken up into discussion courses where you can basically break out into smaller groups to review what you have learned in those lecture rooms and to ask questions in those discussion courses as well. So the important part of this presentation is tuition and fees. So as you can see, in-state tuition is about $14,000, and this is per year. We also broken down 2 categories. So we have optional and then also estimated. So plus optionals are basically costs that you may be paying depending on your situation. So for example, health insurance. I know it's mentioned a few times by my other colleagues in different institutions that we offer health insurance, but if you're covered under your parents' health insurance, or if you have your own, you can opt out of it. Campus housing, we don't require any students, whether they're a freshman all the way to a senior, we don't require them to house on campus. So that can be an optional cost. It's kind of, and it kind of includes the meal plan as well. So if you decide to have a meal plan on campus or not, you don't have to pay. Plan for estimated costs, that's what we've accounted for you as a student. So these costs also vary depending on your situation. So for example, books and fees, they will be significantly lower if you decide to rent your textbooks or borrow your textbooks. Transportation, that actually is estimated for out-of-pocket money like gas, or if you are paying for the Metro or the PACE, that's what it's included in those costs. And then personal expenses, that is just like shopping money, grocery money and stuff. So you'll see these plus optional and plan for estimated on your financial award letter. UIC tuition is also locked in. So that just basically means that we will never increase your base tuition as a student during your program. Your costs can only decrease from additional grants and scholarships. Next is financial aid. So for need-based scholarships, you can submit a FAFSA application if you are eligible, or if you're not eligible for FAFSA, if you are undocumented or you identify as transgendered, you can also apply for the RISE Act. So I know already a lot of people mentioned that FAFSA opens up October 1st. So definitely I'm going to reiterate that. Submitting FAFSA and the RISE Act and adding UIC to the application early will actually allow you to maximize state and federal grants that you may be eligible for. And then for merit-based scholarships, I'm not gonna go into it too much, but the merit-based scholarships, the admissions committee will actually look at your UIC application. So there is no additional application that you need to fill out for our merit-based scholarships. All right, so lastly, I'm going to talk about how to apply. So for first-year students, you'll be using the Common App. We'll also require any high school transcripts and then the application fee or fee waiver. We are going test optional. So if you're applying for spring 2021, fall 2021, and spring 2022 terms, it will be test optional. Otherwise, you can send it either through the ACT website or SAT website. If it's listed on your transcripts, we can also send, we can also accept it that way. We've always have been, even before the pandemic, have reviewed each application holistically. So we look at other factors such as personal statements, letters of recommendation, grade trends, and stuff like that to make a decision. And then lastly, our deadline. So for first-year students, you can apply to our early action program by November 2nd. It basically guarantees a decision by December 1st. So there's no extra cost, there's no extra statements or personal essays. It's just an incentive that if you apply earlier, you'll get a decision by December 1st. It's really important because if you don't have your materials in, like your transcripts or your application by November 2nd, your application will actually be rolled over to regular decision. The Honors College and Gppa deadline, they have pushed their deadline to December 1st. So if you are interested in applying, you can submit it either through the Common App by November 2nd, or if you need more time and you want to submit your Honors College application or Gppa application, you can actually contact the Honors College or Gppa, and they'll send you a link to their application. Otherwise, our regular decision is February 1st. All right, so I know I talked really, really fast, but if you do have any questions, you can actually email admissions@uic.edu. Although it looks like a very general email address, it'll actually go directly towards me, so I'll be the ones answering your questions. And then I also want to emphasize our website. It's discover.uic.edu. We have presentations on there. You could also chat on there. We have a live chat, so you'll be able to talk to either myself or any of my colleagues who's monitoring the chat at that time to answer any of your questions. And that's all I have for y'all.
Awesome.
I'll put my information in the chat as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I know that we said we were going to go to about 5:30, but I do want to just get to a few questions I don't specifically see any questions in the chat. So if any of the attendees right now do have a question in the chat, please feel free to ask any questions. Otherwise, I am going to open it up to some of the questions that were previously asked. And I think everybody's done a really good job answering questions we received when I first opened these questions up a month and a half ago in their presentations at this point, because everybody was ready for all of the questions that were coming at this point. So I appreciate that, but there are two questions that I do want to get to before everybody is gone. And so we'll just do the two questions. We'll kind of go round robin. If everybody just wants to jump on camera, I think that would probably be the best way. If we can all just pop up, we'll just do the two questions. We'll go one by one through the two questions, and then we will, if nobody else asks questions, we'll start with you, Rachel. They shouldn't be that difficult. So we'll just do two questions at once. Question number one is the fun one, and question number two is the more serious one. Question number one is, can you give us one or two really cool, like even like an event that you guys have done at UIC that you're like, it's such a cool event, or something that you guys have on campus that's like a standout event or a cool thing on campus that you love? And then for freshmen, is there some kind of resource on campus if you're a freshman and you're like kind of nervous about being away from home? Like what kind of resource or resources freshmen have on campus?
Yeah, so the fun one is that every year, every fall, we welcome back students. So it's called Weeks of Welcome. So it's just a week full of fun festivities for both incoming, first year students and returning students. We have the involvement fair that's also included in the Weeks of Welcome, and the involvement fair also is included in the spring semester too as well. But basically, even if you don't want to be involved, or if that's not really your thing, just go to different events. I promise you there's probably going to be free food there. And once you're a college student, like free stuff is like the best stuff. So definitely take advantage of that, of those events, and just kind of check it out. As far as resources for first year students, we have several. I want my top two that I can think of on the top of my head. We have a first year initiative office. So that's just basically helping students acclimate to, transitioning from high school to college, whether they are from the city of Chicago or if they're from, the suburbs or out of state or whatnot. And then we also offer each college, so College of Business, LAS, Engineering, they all have these first year seminars. So students can sign up for them. They basically, help students come into the UIC classrooms. They show study skills, they show, how to be a successful student. And then also there are some seminars that actually utilize the city of Chicago. So it's not going to be surprising if you do have, a project at one of our field museums or at the Science of Industry museums. And, being that you are a university student and in Chicago, you'll probably have discounts and get into those museums for free.
Awesome, thank you so much. Kita, what about at Western? One or two really cool events or something really cool on campus, and then what kind of freshman resources do you have?
Absolutely. So really quickly, because I was a student, I have like a million things that come to my head at once. But one of my favorite things was our Taste of Africa festival hosted by our Multicultural Center, where students came and got to taste food from all different countries. Africa, super cool event to learn about diversity in places that some students never been to. And then our Welcome Back Hot Air Balloon Festival, where there's like a whole hot air balloon show, and with the fire they do different like designs and do it to music and sound. It's just super dope, and it's like a really big event. And then in terms of resources, similar to what you might hear a lot of other people say, I will say the first resource is your resident assistant, your RA. I was an RA, and we're one of the first contacts for you to kind of get involved and get outside your comfort zone. From there, we also have counseling center for more pressing matters.
Perfect, thank you so much. Grant, what about Marquette? One or two really cool events or things on campus, and then where do freshmen go for resources, or first year students?
Yeah, two things come to mind as far as the traditions, if you will. First and foremost, because of the importance that Marquette basketball has had with kind of putting Marquette on the map with athletics, I'd say there's a program that's called Marquette Madness, and it's in a traditional year. It kicks the basketball season, and it's held on one of our on-campus stadiums. And it just is an amazing way that there's t-shirts for everyone all the time. Everyone gets signed autographs of all of the team posters. There's pizza all over the place at this arena. It's just an awesome way to see that Marquette experience, that student experience, and that student spirit, because that's truly one of the most distinguishing things about Marquette education is just that energy that comes with being a Marquette student. So that's the first one. The second one that came to mind was a program that is available for all students, but typically tends to draw towards the freshman and sophomore crew, which would be Late Night Marquette. And it's essentially, it's a bunch of programs that are offered through the Marquette student government, but you'll have the ability to go see a hypnotist who comes to campus. So you get to go to a trampoline world down the road, or one of the cooler ones is, I mean, there are like guest speakers that come to town, like, oh gosh, what was his name? RJ Mitty from Breaking Bad. He was on campus. There was a handful. If you go into Google and search Marquette Late Night Marquette, you're going to find the list of who's come. So those are all they're all free for students, and they're extraordinarily fun just to get to see what else is out there. Resources, I don't really have too much to add based on what Keita and Rachel had mentioned. I think the only other thing I can think of right now is the mentorship program. So this is something that students can apply for as usually at the end of their freshman year. So technically you're not getting that transition phase, but for those who are hoping to learn about what they can do with their degree as it relates to their professional aspirations, they can apply into that program and get linked up with a young Marquette alumni and learn about what they could do with their major or minor.
Perfect, thank you, Grant. Julia, how about at SIU?
Oh, I also have a lot of experience and events that I would like to talk about, but one of my favorite ones that I want to highlight is definitely Light Up the Lake. So here on campus, we definitely do have our own lake, and we also have a trail that goes around the lake. But usually once a semester, we do this event around like the evening where students are able to use like the paddle boards, canoes, and they can just go in the lake and have a good time. We have a bonfire, so we have local bands that come into campus and perform within that event. We have all kinds of activities, games available for our students, and it's just an opportunity for all of our students to meet one another, especially as freshmen, and just have a good time, enjoy the community, enjoy those staff members, and that overall experience. It was definitely one of my favorites. In terms of resources, I want to say that definitely the faculty here at SIU is one of the main points of attraction, just because they help all of our students. They're super welcome, super friendly, and they do anything possible to guarantee your success, your well-being, and just to provide you with the motivation you need in order to accomplish that task, that project, those finals. So yeah, I definitely have to say our faculty here on campus.
Awesome, thank you so much. Scott, I don't know how you're going to give me only one or two things being at a Big Ten school. I mean, if you can limit it to one or two things being at U of I, football probably being all of them, but give me one or two things at U of I and then some of your resources.
Yeah, so I think by far one of my favorites always is homecoming. We were actually one of the very first schools to start homecoming back in the really early 1900s. So we've been doing it for over 100 years now of a homecoming tradition. So that's always a really big tradition with our campus, with alumni from like way back in the day to more recent alumni to our current students to future students are all on campus for a really fun week, which is always usually in the fall around a football game. And then I would say the other one by far is my favorite for incoming freshmen. We do something similar, I guess, like a lot of schools do, which is like a big welcome weekend. And my favorite event is always the Sunday before classes start. I always joke around and say it's kind of like Pitch Perfect, where Becca first meets Bart and Bellas. We do the same thing. It's called Quad Day. So all 1,800 of our registered student organizations are on the quad, like a giant college fair. You can walk around, start meeting people and making friends and joining things before classes even start on that very next day, Monday for the fall semester, which is a really great thing. We were able to still do it luckily this year virtually. So we're glad we got to continue that tradition. In terms of resources for freshmen, we do a lot of the same ones that everyone else already mentioned, but I do want to preface what Keita mentioned as well with the RAs. That was by far my favorite resource because it's the first person you usually meet on campus, and they're like their go-to person for your floor, as they're usually an upperclassman, help you navigate the tricky campus when you first get there because it's all very confusing. being away from mom and dad for the first time, vacuuming your room. I didn't bring a vacuum, so they help you out a lot. And then we also have our new student programs that do a lot of freshman year, first experience, help you get acclimated to college life, because it's very, very different from high school life.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Scott. And Jess, last but not least, talk to us about Bradley. One or two really cool things or events and some resources you guys have on campus.
Absolutely. So this was one of my favorite events when I was a Bradley student myself. It's called Late Night BU. It is a monthly event. It's always on the first Friday of every month, and they have different themes. It's a big social and activity event where a bunch of Bradley students get together. We were able to adapt it for this fall with all of the, guidelines that we had to follow for, distancing and everyone's safety. It began earlier and it was spread all around campus. They had different activities like decorating, different mugs, so you can have your own personal Bradley mug after move-in. They had axe throwing on campus, which was just awesome, as well as bounce houses and a few of those activities that you could do while maintaining social distance and, guidelines and everything. So that's one thing that I've really enjoyed, that they were able to adapt that activity to our new guidelines for this year. And then for resources for our first year students, we have a lot of those same resources that have already been mentioned, including counseling services on campus, having a dedicated RA on every floor, as well as our initiatives for first gen students, as well as students from diverse backgrounds. But one thing that I really like is we do have a seminar course that freshmen can take their first semester that they're on campus. It's called EHS 120, the College Experience. And you have an instructor for this class, and they just guide you through some of those resources on campus. They also pair with the Alumni Association and have a Bradley alum come and talk about, their time on campus and how things have changed, but also stayed the same. So it's just kind of nice to have that core group of students that you're in that first year seminar with every single week, your first freshman semester.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And like I said, there were a lot of other questions. Oh, good. We do have another question. I don't want to keep people too long, but let's get to the question real fast. What are some things, oh, this is a quick one. Perfect. What are some things that you guys would recommend to bring from home in order to make our college life easier? We don't need to do round robin. If somebody wants to shoot some things out, you guys open for them, please.
I cannot undersell how important, or can't oversell how important it is to have caffeine. So I recommend bringing your own coffee, either a coffee maker or a little self-serve Keurig from home. Of course, Bradley allows them. Please check with your colleges, RA rules and regulations to make sure that's okay on all campuses, but your own source of caffeine. I really I could not have gotten through some of my term papers or finals without it.
I've got one comment there as well. Although probably not as important as caffeine, having pictures of your family, pictures of home in your residence hall are super important. As cheesy as it sounds, as independent as you think you might be, you will go through a transition phase where you're going to be homesick, and having those reminders of people who love you and support you is going to be so instrumentally helpful for you.
Also, I want to add that having a planner is also very beneficial, just because you're able to be organized, you're able to schedule everything you need, either a planner or a calendar. They both work really well, so highly recommend.
It'll be important for your entire life to have a planner. It goes everywhere. It's my life. You'll want a planner for life. And it's not as fun as everybody else's things, but things that make you feel really good and smell really good, even if you're not a smelly person, they go far. Flip-flops are really important, especially if you're in a dorm room where you have to shower with other people. You'll want flip-flops that are your flip-flops and other people don't use on you. Some other questions that came through are AP courses credited. That's going to be a little bit different for everybody. How about a thumbs up? Or AP courses credited? That's a thumbs up from everybody. So AP courses are credited. Any advice for a college applicant, things that make you stand out? And for the question about things you recommend in order to make your life easier, talk to me about it. I'll give you a million more things that are like important too. I'm super happy to talk to you about it. I went to Iowa my freshman year and ended up at UIC, so I can give you things that made me feel better back and forth. Any advice for college applicants, things that make you stand out? Does everybody want to give one or two things that have stood out in the past for them?
I can go, being that, you know, a lot of universities now are taking the holistic approach of, you know, admissions. My advice is definitely focus on your personal statements. There are some institutions that, you know, have a word requirement, so just keep those in mind. But in your personal statements, really highlight your achievements, your awards, and, you know, goals that you might have. Talk about what you've been a part in, and maybe how you tie in how your experiences that you've done and how that affects or will affect on achieving your goals.
How much does grammar and punctuation matter?
A lot.
If you know that I didn't even spend a minute editing it, you can tell, right?
Yeah. I'll piggyback.
Oh, you go ahead. I'll go after you, Jessica.
I was just going to piggyback off of what Rachel said. I really love getting to know my students really well through the personal statement. I have read some really amazing personal statements from students that just let me know about them, but even if they're not talking about their major. So help us get to know you really well through your essay. Please remember proper capitalization, especially on the letter I, please.
My big one always is just follow the instructions in the application. So all of our applications are a little bit different. So making sure that you're following with what we're asking and what we're needing from you throughout the process. And then making sure obviously that you proofread your material, please. That's always just really big. But the big thing to stand out is just doing your homework on our universities. Research our schools a little bit, find out what the programs entail, and just talk about some of the things you want to take advantage of. Don't talk about just like general things like, I want to do Greek life, I want to play soccer. Like those are things you can do on any one of our campuses. Talk about specifics that you want to do at our school and take advantage of for the classes, for research, or for some sort of connection we have for an internship or a club or activity, something specific to our school. That'll let us know that you really want to go to our university and that you took time to research our individual school.
And when I asked the question about punctuation and grammar, it's because I read a lot of your essays that go out before you put them out there. And I recommend that it's really easy to ask your favorite English teacher for 10 minutes of their time, and they want to help you. That's what they're here for. They became teachers for a reason. They want to help you. So to say, hey, I'm thinking about applying to any of the schools on the screen here. Can you give me 10 minutes of your time to look it over? They would be thrilled to do it for you. And if they're not thrilled to do it for you, that's when you come to me and say, Mr. Bruno, can you look it over? Or this English teacher wouldn't. And I'm happy to look it over for you. So somebody said, are there any campus jobs for freshmen? And I'll answer it real quickly so we don't have to go through it. Everybody's going to say thumbs up. Are there campus jobs for freshmen? Yes. The easiest way for that to come through is when you're completing your FAFSA, make sure you are clicking that you want to do work study. So if you want to be, and if you want to look for a job on campus, a work study option, check yes, and that's going to put you into the running. There are a lot of very, very, very easy jobs on campus. Not that you don't have to work for them, but if you have to be the mail sorter at the front desk or you have to work the front desk, it's great. I was the RA, like many people that are on the screen were probably RAs. It's not an easy job being an RA. You work odd hours, but you live for free most of the time and get a salary, and you eat for free. And it's great. It's a lot of money at the end of the day to be an RA, and you really are helping people. One of the students said, and we'll just, I guess we can go around. We can do another thumbs up, thumbs down. Does your school have interior design as a major? Okay, there we go. So that's the answer to that one. Thank you, guys. Any other questions? These are some great questions. My plan was any other last minute questions. Thank you guys for asking them. I'm so glad you guys are asking questions. It makes all of us happy. That's what we're here for. What age? Oh, this is a great question. What age do you have to be an RNA? Does anybody have an answer to that one?
Do they mean RA or the registered nurse?
Good question. For the student that's asking the question, are you talking about an RA, like a registered nurse, or are you talking about the RNA, like in an actual nursing program?
Yeah, we have like our resident hall assistants, and then yeah, we have the registered nurses. I just didn't know which one. Oh yeah, so for hall assistants, they don't allow freshmen to be it since you're new to campus, but at most universities like ours, it's sophomores and above can be RAs.
Yeah, on Bradley's campus, you have to have an established Bradley GPA in order to apply to be an assistant resident advisor or a resident advisor. You have that application process your first semester of college, so the very earliest would be second semester of freshman year. But like Scott said, typically they would prefer students who are sophomore year or above.
Yeah, I would say for your chances of getting the job, it would be nice for you to be in your sophomore year. You are going to be dealing with students that are a little bit younger than you. And for authority wise, it's nice to at least have a year age gap between it. For the question about specifically for interior design, I would ask that if I can get you to reach out specifically to Julia. Julia, if I can send you the student's contact information, will you reach out one-on-one with the student to talk about that? Would you mind?
Yes, of course, definitely.
Perfect. I will send you the student's contact information directly after, or if you want to reach out right afterwards. And then we're just going to wrap this up now because I do want to respect everybody's time, and everybody is, it's almost 6 o'clock. So we're just about 20 minutes over. So one more question, nursing majors. If you have a nursing major, thumbs up or thumbs down? All right. That's almost everybody. That's 95.5%, I would say. So again, if you have any questions for anybody on our panel, please feel free to send them an email, give them a call, shoot them a tweet, shoot them a text, give them any way, send them a carrier pigeon. That's like the 1800s. I'm going real old school there for you. Julia, I will send you an email with the student that was asking about interior design. A lot of our panelists, if they have not already been through their own one-on-one representative visit with Round Lake High School, if you're a Round Lake High School student on this call, they probably have a Round Lake High School event coming up shortly. So if you would like a dedicated 1 hour block of time with these wonderful people, then you should just make sure you're checking out our page so you can sign up. They take a lot of time with one-on-one questions. You can talk to them. Or if you just, like I said, want to send them an email to talk to them, that's a great way of doing it also. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. I really do appreciate all your times. 2 hours after your already long day, all of you college representatives, is a lot of time. So thank you so much. I know this has been a crazy time, but I appreciate everybody on this call. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Students, thank you for all your great questions. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.